So, it's been a while. Another year is done and dusted. Let's talk about Gunpla at Target, 2024 edition. So at the beginning of the year, I was worried that Target was slowing down stocking Gundam model kits, and while this wasn't the case in many Targets, it seems that unfortunately just as many, if not more Targets all over the country have ceased stocking model kits altogether. That's a real shame. While there are many ways of getting Gunpla and other model kits in the States, I still thought there was something special about a massive big box store acknowledging the hobby as worthy of being put on physical shelves. It was like affirmation, I guess? Not to mention, from what I've read online and in the comments of my previous Gundam video, it seems like this was the gateway for many new Gunpla fans, which was probably the goal in the first place. Combine that with the inconsistent stocking on Target.com, this makes the situation pretty dire for Gunpla at Target. I don't know whose fault this is, whether it's Target for changing their distribution of Gunpla, or Bandai for not selling enough Gunpla to Target, or some other problem I don't know. All I know is, making this year's list was more difficult than the last one. But I don't think Gunpla at Target is dead just yet. We will have to just wait and see. Anyway, here's the Gundam model kits you may have seen at Target in 2024. So last video, I already talked about how in March of 2024, we got the entry grade La Gundam and the entry grade Build Strike Exceed Galaxy. So just to summarize my thoughts, the La Gundam was good, and the Build Strike Exceed Galaxy was great. It would be about 6 months until we would see any new Gunpla at Target. I would be lying if I didn't say that I was worried we wouldn't get any more Gunpla at Target at all. However, I made a prediction in my last video that stated if we were to get new Gunpla at Target, it would probably be kits tied to the latest Gundam media, and my prediction seemed to be right on the money. In September, the Gundam Seed Freedom movie was made available for streaming in the United States on Netflix. Pretty good movie in my opinion, by the way, and this is coming from someone who hasn't seen Seed or Seed Destiny yet. Similarly tying into this, Target began putting the HG Rising Freedom Gundam and the HG Immortal Justice Gundam kits on shelves for the actually really good price of $25.99. The first kit I wanted to talk about is the HG Rising Freedom Gundam. The first thing I noticed is that instead of the usual folded instruction pamphlet that comes with most Gunpla, Bandai actually provides a real booklet with this model, which to my knowledge usually only comes with premium kits like master grades and real grades. I appreciate the inclusion here because Bandai must have known a lot of newcomers or returning Gundam fans might want this kit, and that an instruction booklet would be more accessible and easily readable than a pamphlet. You know, I don't think I've ever seen this particular shade of blue used on a main Gundam before, which is a shame because I think it looks pretty good. The lack of vents on the face, combined with the chest design, makes me think of this as if the Strike Freedom Gundam and the Zeta Gundam had a baby, and we'll see that there's more to this in a second. This kit gives you a lot for your money. You get a beam rifle and a shield that can have all these beams come out of it and be launched to ram enemies. By the way, a lot of these pictures of accessories will come from Dalong.net. You already know I lost those in the Moose Munch bin. If it launches its shield, it still isn't defenseless, as it can protect itself with a beam shield as well. The wings can fold out and reveal shoulder cannons. Like the Strike Freedom, the side skirts store a couple of beam sabers and can fold out to reveal 2 additional cannons. The 2 beam sabers can combine for Darth Maul cosplay mode. The articulation is also very good. Bandai put heavy emphasis on the new joints they used on these Seed Freedom kits, calling it the Seed Action System, and I can see why. Unfortunately, to get most posing potential out of your kits, you have to supply your own stand, which gets us into the negatives of this kit. Now, this kit in my opinion is very good, but it does utilize a lot of stickers which may frustrate some people. On my copy, the shield likes to pop off the ball joint really easily, unfortunately. I also found the wings to be a bit frustrating to put together, as they use a lot of similar looking pieces that only go together one way and can break if you do it wrong. I imagine a lot of Gunpla beginners would hate that. Also, while not as heavy as some other backpacks I've seen on Gunpla, this kit is a little back heavy due to the wings and the way the feet are assembled. This kit really should have come with a stand, especially for this last feature, the High Mobility Aerial Tactics mode. More than meets the eye. Yeah, not great, is it? Granted, I'm not posing it in the most flattering way. Let's get Dalong up in here. Still not great. While I appreciate that for the most part you don't have to swap any pieces out in order to mount the shield and beam rifle to the model, or even mount the model to a stand, you need to use this ugly adapter piece. Even then, I feel like this mode was kind of an afterthought or low priority just to make the Zeta comparison easier. The fact that you don't include a stand makes me feel like even Bandai isn't proud of this. I mean, the Dom Trooper came with a flight stand, why not this? I don't even remember them using this mode in the movie that often. Anyways, my rating for this kit is a high S tier, as it coincides with the highly successful movie release, and you get quite a bit of value for your money. The next kit we are going to look at is its sister unit, the HG Immortal Justice Gundam. Just like their anime counterparts, the Rising Freedom and Immortal Justice kits share a lot of engineering, and even some parts, but each kit is still easily distinguishable. Rather than the angel wings on the Rising Freedom, the Immortal Justice Gundam, like the other Justice mobile suits, opts for more traditional wings. The Immortal Justice has a similar assortment of accessories to the Rising Freedom, but with a couple of twists. While the shield can be deployed like a drone or missile just like on the Rising Freedom, you don't get any beam shields. Instead, you get the ability to mount the beam effects to the legs to cut people as you kick them, I guess. So now for the negatives. While this kit's backpack isn't as heavy as the Rising Freedoms, I find myself having a harder time getting this kit to stand due to how weak the ankles are and how much smaller the feet are. I also feel like you get less for your money than you do with the Rising Freedom. Even when transforming to the high mobility aerial tactics mode, you have to take parts off of it to get there. Not that the result is worth it in my opinion, but it still shows they seem to put slightly less effort into this kit. Still, a very solid, highly posable kit, released at the right time, so I will still give this kit an S tier, but lower than the Rising Freedom. Now, throughout the franchise's history, most of the media production has been done in Japan. There's a couple attempts here and there to do it outside of Japan, but none have been that successful. In October of 2024, Sunrise released to Netflix their latest attempt of producing Gundam media outside of Japan with the Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Reactions to this series have been mixed, to say the least, from the animation to the story and even the designs of the mobile suits. In my opinion, while this was not the best Gundam series, it definitely was not the worst. As for the mobile suits, personally they've grown on me, but I can definitely see why they're not to everyone's taste. To coincide with the release of this new series, Target began to put the two Gundam Requiem for Vengeance kits on shelves, the HG Gundam X, the HG Zaku 2 F Type Solari. Looks like I was 444 on my predictions. I heard reports that this kit was released as early as September of 2024, but I didn't find mine until October. Both kits released for the very acceptable price of $21.99 each. So, first, let's talk about the Gundam X. No. From the very first teaser image, the design of this Gundam had mixed reactions. From interviews from the designers, it appears that the Gundam was specifically created to both look and act uncanny. Key inspirations being slasher film villains and skeletons. Should I make a spooky scary skeletons joke here, or a skeleton warriors joke? I won't do either. Bandai seemed to really want people to like this design, announcing a Dragokin figure and an honestly overpriced Gundam Universe figure. I mean, I love Gundam Universe, but $40 for this? Seriously? But we're here to talk about the model kit. I have to admit, while I too was initially indifferent to the design, seeing it in motion and getting the model in hand really warmed me up to it. With this model, you can see and appreciate all the extra detail that went into designing this mecha. The build was more complex than your average Gundam of this grade, but not too difficult. Lots of little greebles on every crevice with masterful color separation. For the most part anyway. And those head fin safety nubs have to be the most obnoxious I've ever seen on a kit. But given the price, this is still excellent, and the articulation is nothing to sneeze at either. The Gundam X comes with an interesting looking shield, a beam rifle, 4 beam sabers, though it can only carry 3 of them, and a shoulder mounted minigun. Both the beam saber rack and the minigun are adjustable, but the minigun has a cool gimmick where the ammo container moves alongside the minigun. The backpack can also be removed to reveal standard backpack ports. So in my opinion, this kit is really great. I understand the look and source of material is definitely not for everyone, but for $21.99, it's at least worth a try. And as for the product for Target to stock, I'll give it an S tier, ranking for its quality as a model kit, as well as coinciding with the current media. And now, for the last kit I picked up from Target in 2024, the HG Zaku 2 F-Type Solari. Solari? I don't remember. Like the Gundam X, this kit was designed with a high level of detail. However, while the Gundam X was designed to look more sleek and streamlined, this Zaku was designed to look more rugged with a more scrapyard underdog aesthetic. Or would it be Underwolf? Anyways, this kit also sold for $21.99. It comes with renditions of the iconic Zaku machine gun and Heat Hawk. It also comes with leg-mounted missile launcher and a fair number of hand options. The pointy shoulder shield also has guns built into it. Like most modern Zaku kits, the eye can be adjusted to look left and right. One interesting gimmick is on the leg hoses. Usually on Zaku kits you see a single piece of free-floating plastic, a piece of rubber, or occasionally some sort of spring to allow for the hose to not interfere with knee articulation. Here though, they instead implemented a mechanical connector between the two hose pieces to allow for a hinge at the knee. While I do think it's really cool they did it this way, I wish they hid the actual hinge mechanism a little better. I mean, it's right there. So this kit, like the Gundam X, surprised me by how good it looked in person and by how complex it is. However, this kit is not perfect. For one thing, I'm not a big fan of how they designed the skirt armor. Usually on modern Zaku kits, the skirt is two flaps that are or can be separated so they move independent of each other. However, with this design, they made the front skirt one single piece. So if doing, say, a crouching pose, the entire flap has to move up on this interesting mechanism. I appreciate the effort that was put into this kit to make the design work, but frankly it doesn't feel as good to pose as other Zaku kits, and the hips kind of fight the mechanism and the skirt armor. Another problem I have with this kit is the tolerances. For some reason I had some issues getting the orange-brown pieces to fit together, like the plastic had slightly expanded so I had to do some light sanding on a few spots to make things work. The joints are also a little too tight for comfort as well, especially on the hips. You can't see it on my camera too well unfortunately, but stress marks have appeared on the hip swing arms as they flex before the hip wants to move in any direction. The ab crunch also seems to like getting locked up on occasion. This is strange because I assume it was designed at the same time as the Gundam X, but I didn't have any problems with the Gundam X, so I don't know what's wrong with this. It also seems like a couple people online, including Daolong, had similar tolerance issues. This kit is so close to being great, it hurts. And it's a shame that Bandai lets these things fall through the cracks occasionally. Looking at you, Gun Vulva Ankles. I mean, yeah, many of these issues aren't that difficult to fix, but not everyone would know how to fix these problems, or even know to look out for them. I'm afraid that if someone bought this kit as their first, it might decrease their chance of trying another kit if they got frustrated with this one. I just hope this was either not a widespread problem, or that it would be fixed on future re-releases. Anyways, while under normal circumstances, I would have given this kit an S tier due to the tolerances issues, I have to demote it to A. So overall, despite my fears for this year, Gunpla at Target is still going strong with 6 whole new kits being released along with occasional restocks of previously released kits. Sure, that pales in comparison to 2023's 10 kits, but looking at the numbers overall, this was still a very solid year with a very good selection of kits. Now, there's only one thing left to do. Look towards the future. You know what other Mobile Suit alt tabs during Source games? GQ. If you had asked me a few weeks ago what I thought might be the next Gunpla for Target to stock, I wouldn't have had a good answer for you. However, in the beginning of December, Bandai announced the next Gundam series. Mobile Suit Gundam GQ... Yeah, sure. The main mobile suit of the series, the GQX, has been a bit polarizing, not surprising given its unique design. Many are comparing it to Evangelion designs, but to me it actually reminds me of the Battle Caesar robo from Zenkaiger. Don't ask me how, it just does. Probably the red head fin. Personally, I'm in the camp that likes the design, and I appreciate how Bandai is continuing to experiment with the designs, though I definitely understand those who would have preferred something a little bit less out there. The kit for the GQX has been advertised as being highly posable while still being very easy to build. It seems to have a limited inner frame as well, though it's not as complete as those seen in Iron-Blooded Orphans kit or even the Witch from Mercury Calibarn. It seems to come with a pretty good amount of accessories, including a beam rifle, a thruster pack, probably, a couple unique looking beam sabers, an axe, a small shield, and 2 different heads. Not sure what this thing here is, though, unfortunately. There's a lot of speculation surrounding this kit. I mean, like, how sticker heavy is it going to be? Why does it have a Zaku Heat Hawk? Is it even a Gundam? What will the other kits from this series look like? Only time will tell. Both the series premiere movie and the kit are set to be released in January of 2025. The kit seems to be selling in Japanese markets for 2,200 yen, slightly less than the Rising Freedom, and slightly more than the Gundam X. Some American retailers are pricing this kit at $21.99. Whether or not this kit will be worth that, I won't really know until I get the kit in my dirty, grubby, Cheeto dust-covered hands. What I'm even less certain about is if, let alone when, Target will stock this kit. I think it would be a good idea to, since it would coincide with the new series, and it seems like this kit is being marketed as another potential entry point into the hobby. If I had to guess, Target would probably stock this kit around midway through the anime, probably right before the protagonist usually gets an upgrade of some sort. In any case, model kits, whether they be Gundam, Dragon Ball, or One Piece, or whatever else, seem to be here to stay at Target for now, given that your local location actually stocks the things. Anyways, with that, happy 2025, and happy hunting.